we will be quickly connected to them and ensure they make it back home or to whatever resources are needed. If you'd like to find out more about Safe Place and ways in which you can get involved, just go to pcmlincoln.org. Remember, when we all do a little, we change a lot.
Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America. This is Old School, sponsored by the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese. Broadcasting veteran Derek Pearson.
When you find something that moves them, that makes them smile, celebrate it. That's your task. That's your superpower.
Nebraska Football Hall of Famer Jay Foreman.
Rifles a pass. It was tipped. It's picked off by Foreman. He's at the 15, 10, 5. He'll score!
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, welcome into, let's just call this one-on-one with DP, as we got DP here, and I am Harrison Arndt. We're going to take you through this hour here. We'll go all the way up until 9 o'clock, and then we'll be followed with Fitness Fanatics. We got Jeff and Nicole Essink on that one. That's always a great show. 2 hours of that. So if you want to learn more about kind of what Farrell's Fitness Fanatics is about, how to get involved in that, stick around for that 9 o'clock hour. Like I said, it's a 2-hour show. But, I mean, we can go anywhere with this one, DP. We can talk about last night's game, NFL, slate today.
What's the movie? About last night.
I mean, I'll be honest, DP, my biggest concern last night was that we weren't getting enough angry phone calls. Like, apathy almost felt like it set in a little bit.
Well, I think it's resolution.
Maybe.
Right? That now we know we have some serious, like, there's no immediate fix for it.
No, I didn't think it was going to happen this week. I know there's like people want to call it a new fresh air, and I'm like, I mean, you're still asking Mickey Joseph to overhaul a lot in what is a
in 2 functional days.
Yeah.
A legitimate problem-based program.
And that's a legit number 6 team in the nation.
Well, we didn't know that it was legit number 6 because we had never – and in truth, we still don't know, because what we now know is that Nebraska's not very good.
That's fair.
Right? So for whatever was going on, Oklahoma, I don't know if they were tested. I don't know if they've still been tested yet.
Yeah, I mean, that's fair. If you look at their games early on, they didn't really play anyone. I mean, Kent State, they only put up 33 on them. Their defenses looked good, but we were supposed to be their quote-unquote first true test. But we struggled against North Dakota, and we lost to Georgia Southern, we lost to Northwestern. Northwestern lost to Duke. We don't really have any sort of resume that says we're a legitimate challenge to that Oklahoma team. So
yeah,
we made them look great. That's for sure.
Well, I wanted to be sure yesterday to give them credit, to give Oklahoma credit.
Yeah,
for their play. Like, they came in and did what they were supposed to do, which is what any program should do, right? That's the definition of a good program and a good team. A good program over the course of time is consistent with its identity and its standard. Like, that's a program.
Yeah.
You could have a good team, which is a one lightning in a bottle or a short span where you figured out a way to, with a great player or a couple of great players and a great circumstance, great proper scheduling matches up and lines up, that sort of thing. Cincinnati had a great team last year. I don't think it's a great program yet.
No.
That thing sort of happens. Michigan State finding out being a good team doesn't make you a good program. Now, they can be a great program, but they found out yesterday when you travel to Washington, hey, man, they don't care about what you think. They don't care. This is what college football is, that where Appalachian State goes to College Station. I think we would all call Texas A&M a good program, but that team took a tail whooping against Appalachian State at home, and then had to grind last night. They had to grind. A&M was in trouble.
Yeah, what was the final score of that game?
I think 17-9.
Yeah, it was close.
There's a lot. I think that's a good idea, is actually go through some of the scores from some of those games that mattered yesterday, and some of the weird scores. But A&M against the good Miami team, right? That's a good Miami team.
Yeah.
That's not like the program is not the U as it was, right? When everybody would flash to you, and you'd have every Miami Hurricanes game, you'd have the chock full of superstars on the sideline.
Yeah.
But it was impressive to watch.
Really, last night, it looked like most teams in the top 25 pretty much took care of business. Oregon had a nice pick-me-up game. I saw they dominated BYU pretty easily.
And BYU is a couple players down, but still, like we saw what Georgia did to Oregon.
And Georgia, I mean, they took Spencer Rattler and said, you wanted to play for the Gamecocks, South Carolina. Final score of that one was 48-7.
So it's literally Georgia and then everybody else.
I think so. Because the way Texas pushed Alabama made me think that they're not.
Yeah, but you saw Texas against Texas San Antonio last night.
Exactly.
Like they had to buckle up.
Yeah.
Like
I think Georgia's the true one, and it's not close right now.
Yeah, there was yesterday was fun, right? Just to see Crow Bates says, can't believe you guys are at it again this morning. DP, you got some serious drive. Thank you. We're just trying to, I mean, like there's sports fans in Nebraska.
Yeah.
And so to have a place on Sunday where you can come and recap, resettle. It would be great. And I don't know if this is possible. And I don't know who I need to talk to. But it would be great for one of these Sunday mornings to be following a win. Like a big win.
Exciting.
Like a big win. But Nebraska fans, as you said, I don't think it's apathy. I think it's that they're trying to numb themselves to the pain of getting hyped again, drinking the Kool-Aid.
Yeah.
I forget who I was talking to last night. And they said, the thing about drinking Kool-Aid is this. There's so much sugar that a crash is inevitable.
Yeah.
And this is the crash after the Kool-Aid.
I definitely crashed after Northwestern immediately. I was like, I don't know what I saw that game, but it's not.
I crashed at 11:32 yesterday.
It was what you were there at the game.
Yeah.
What moment did you see the mass waves of people moving out? Because when I was watching on the TV, it looked. I mean, I was finding holes in the second quarter already, and then the third quarter was just rows just cleared out.
It was so the final drive in the first half. So when they make it 35-7,
yeah.
So there was the missed. There was the fourth and short where they didn't get it, right? And so some of the conversation in the media room was go for the field goal. It's 28-10, right? It's 28-10. But at least you're breaking.
Yeah. So I think it was like 2 yards,
right?
They needed.
So they went 4th and 2, which was the other side of it. And as a coach, you make a decision. You go, wait a minute. Do I want the 3 points, which is just that moral victory of we had a successful drive, or is this a statement? And the rule for that is always this: as an offensive coach, if I can't make two yards when I need to, I'm not supposed to win anyway.
I mean, yeah.
And it's whatever school of thought you're in, like whatever space you're in. And apparently at the time, they're like, we can get 2 yards, right? Like we should be able to get 2 yards. Except when your offensive line isn't being dominant, it's not that clear that you can get 2 yards.
Yeah.
Whenever you want, especially when you want it, when they know that's all you need to do. Getting 2 yards on 1st and 10, easy to do. 2nd and 10, still pretty easy to do. 3rd and 10, 3rd and 6, okay. 4th and 2, you got to fatten your neck, rock your core, and move somebody.
Yeah, which yesterday, I mean, there's just so many missed assignments, and I don't want to just bash on the O-line either because it was everywhere on the field. I mean, there was leaks.
Well, there's tons to talk about.
Yeah,
there's tons to talk about.
But like you're saying, it's like, do you trust? I trust Anthony Grant, but I don't know if someone's going to miss an assignment and he's going to have to break a tackle before he even touches the line of scrimmage. That's what bothers me.
Well, I mean, here's the thing about football. It requires 11 people working together at all times, right? No matter how great your player is, Spencer Rattler has figured this out. Now, how great of a talent he is as a quarterback. If you don't have 10 other dudes who are fighting at your talent level against the 10 dudes, the other 11 dudes you're facing who have your talent level, it's a problem.
Yeah,
it's a problem, right? You figured it out, and you're right. There were so many basic things that weren't handled. And I'm not sure, like it's all fixable, but then the question becomes how quickly can it be fixed? Because you have to retrain people who have been working for at least 7 months.
Yeah, I mean, all this was done in the summer. That's when you get your fundamentals down. So because football, college football especially, you have no time to mess around. Basketball, you can kind of work up into the team you're trying to be because it's a longer schedule. Football, what you did in the summer is who you're going to be in the fall, and it's kind of too late to fix it now. You can get better, but the product at the end of the season while trying to fix this is just probably not going to look great. It's kind of, the clock's already pretty much out. It's going to be hard to fix this.
Well, I mean, and especially in a program that's still not a program yet.
Mm-hmm.
Nebraska as a program right now doesn't exist.
We don't have an identity.
Right?
It's been gone.
Well, the identity, but the consistency doesn't exist. It's especially consistency with standard, right? And there's a difference. The things that count, every program has an identity.
Mm-hmm.
It's not all good identity. Like, it's not all good culture. And we were having a discussion yesterday, and it came up that, of course, folks were talking about, what's next. Well, you have 2 weeks to prepare for an Indiana team that showed some leaky spots as well.
They're struggling as well,
right? So they had to raise their hands to the heavens to find an overtime victory yesterday against Western Kentucky at home. Like, it didn't look good. They were down 2 scores late in the fourth quarter, and somehow managed, and then Western Kentucky missed their chip shot field goal, and then they made theirs and it runs. But you have 2 weeks. So what can you, as a coach, what can you change? Well, Mickey Joseph said yesterday that we're going to work on individual skills rather than teamwork.
Yep.
Right? Because there are some things, the teamwork doesn't happen unless you're able to apply, or at least have accomplished or in your tool belt, the skills individual skills that you need.
Mm-hmm.
Right? You can have all the schemes for 11 in the world, but if you don't have 11 people who can actually tackle, all the scheming, getting people in the right place only affects if you can put people on the ground.
Yeah.
Right? All the pass pressure drills. Like, you've got to have more than one drill, one pass rush. Like, you've got to have one move. You've got to have several. And it's required, right? Because once you show the thing that you do well, what they're going to adjust to that, then what are you going to do? And that applied as well. And then individuals identifying what it is that their skill set is, and then how do they apply that thing? And I felt bad for Eric Shenander yesterday. I felt bad for Travis. I felt bad for the defensive coaches because they were hearing it. But they took a beat down.
It was bad. I mean, that scoreboard could have kept running up if Oklahoma wanted to. If they wanted to keep their starters in there, I don't know what the final score would have been.
They finished with 580 yards total offense, and you're absolutely right. That could have been 700 yards
easily. The way they were moving the ball, I mean, it just looked effortless. And I think in the third quarter, that's what really, just not even. I don't know if I want to say the guys weren't fighting, but I mean, it's kind of just what it looked like. If that, or we're just that much less talented than them, or we're not as physical as them, because they were doing whatever the hell they wanted with ease. And then the secondaries came in, same story. I mean, they were doing the same thing. I think we pretty much kept our starting offensive line in there the entire time, and we really still couldn't get a push.
I didn't understand. There are a couple of things that were in play, right? So that Oklahoma ran 86 offensive plays yesterday, 86. Let's take, if we just focused on the first 3 quarters.
Okay.
Right. So let's say the first 3 quarters, where the starters were on the field. That's right? That's
pretty
right,
much.
Right?
Yeah, there was like late third quarters when.
So in the 86 plays that they ran yesterday, they had 31 first downs on 86 plays.
It's just so bad. I should put the team comparisons here. Let's just see how big this gap was between these two teams. So first downs, Oklahoma at 31 to our 21. Let's see here. Rushing yards, 312 to our 163. Passing, 268 to our 164.
But pause there. 16 passing first downs.
Yeah.
16 passing first downs on 30 throws. On 30 throws. 14 yards of completion. Right? And so as you go through, you can beat your head, right? Right? You can beat your head against the ground.
Mhm.
But Husker fans are like, well, why? Like, you just beat my head in the ground. Why would I beat my own head in the ground? So what do you do in those cases? You distance yourself from it, emotionally at least. Physically, yeah. But when they missed the fourth down and then Oklahoma went down and scored a touchdown, that's when I started, even in press row, I started just packing up. Like, I'm like, okay, I'll beat the traffic. I'll get down to Tanner, set up for the postgame.
You probably
show.
met the traffic.
It looked like the pregame of people walking into the
I was
stadium.
gonna say, I was like, you probably didn't avoid the
just-
traffic at all. You're probably right in there on
Like,
the way out.
that's what it looked like, was where you had where there's enough people where you have to slow down. You have to slow down. And so by the time I got out, it was halftime, and the flow, like, there was a palpable traffic flow out of the stadium towards the parking lot. Like, and so I just went, wow. And then listening to the conversation, and there were people who were, there are people who were sitting down, who just tapped out. Most of the tailgates around the stadium were filled. People had come back, or people never left, and we're sitting there watching the game, but they're drinking and eating and just kind of being distracted.
Just
by it.
hang out and do other things.
It wasn't that. From the textures, let's get a couple of these in. Christian in Lincoln says you guys might already talked about this, but what's the strength of this team? Maybe running back room, punter. Well, punter got hurt yesterday.
Yeah.
Punter got hurt yesterday. The running back room appears to be that.
That seems to be the biggest strength in my eyes.
But I don't know if I'm supposed to say this. But AJ Allen's hurt.
Is he really? I did not hear that.
I know. Maybe I'm not supposed to say it.
It's out there now.
But his shoulder. He was in the shoulder brace last night.
That's not good.
Collarbone.
I will say
Collarbone.
That's probably why we saw Urban more.
Yeah, collarbone.
Okay. Well,
sorry, folks. And sorry to the young man.
Yeah. Hopefully it's not.
Ran into him and his family last night, and he was in brace, and there was that.
At least he's young enough in his career that it's not gonna. He's still gonna have time to.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Like he and I think he's a part of the future plan.
I think so. He's got to be.
Also, he says, are they really evaluating Mickey off this team? You can't possibly do that.
It's not.
You can't do it.
It'd be incredibly unfair.
You can't do it. And if it is, it's a statement. It's another statement of what ails the program. Is that if you're going to evaluate him after, when Frost took over, the conversation was, well, this was the state of the union. Like the program was in shambles, the roster was in, okay. Well, same thing applies. And 2 real days. To do this, but yeah, AJ ran well. The Milk says the Nebraska offense didn't help the defense by going 3 and out and not burning any time.
Yeah, I mean,
it's a team thing. Like, it's a team thing.
Yeah.
But here's the deal: when the offense is bad, no points are scored. Either way.
Yeah.
When the defense is bad, scoreboard changes. That's just the reality of the job. And you put back-to-back performances, right? The offense has scored 56 points in the last 2 weeks. How many points is the defense giving away? A ton, right? Almost 1,200 yards. 1,200 yards of total offense. They're not the same.
Yeah, because I think even Georgia Southern had more yards than Oklahoma did.
Yeah, it's not the same. There's not the same. So there's there. Randy, please don't do that. Like, don't put that stuff on the text line, bro. Like,
yeah, just ignore that one.
Yeah, don't do that sort of stuff. And again, that's not the purpose of the text line. That's not what we're doing here. So handle your biz. But through all the stuff that's in play, right? That of the groups who played, like Trey Palmer had a 10-catch day, but nobody else had more than 2.
Yeah, I was surprised. I mean, so much of that too. I don't think the receivers were playing poor by any means. Casey Thompson, I mean, he had to rush through his progressions every time, and I'm sure Trey Palmer's the number one option a lot. So that's why he's up at 10. But when he's down to his second read, his third read, his Marcus Washington, Omar, whoever's out there, Isaiah Garcia-Castaneda, his second, third read, well, he only has time for his first read.
That's it.
That's why he has 10 catches and it falls off there.
Well, and here's where the game changed. Oklahoma recognized what they were doing and said, okay, we're going to just blitz.
Mm-hmm.
and force him to take those short throws, right? But we're also going to go into press coverage.
Yep.
So we're going to throw the timing off and all those things in place. So it was a ton of stuff that was going wrong. One moment in this thing was that Mickey Joseph said, "I'm accountable for this. I'll get better. I'll do better." 2 days, 3 days is not enough to prepare for Oklahoma as a head coach.
No, especially it's not even just preparing for Oklahoma. It's dealing with everything after getting rid of Scott Frost. So it's like you're essentially, I don't want to call it a wasted day, but that's I mean, your first day back isn't wasted, but it's implementing a ton of new things.
Couple of days, conversations with players. A lot of the stuff that I was hearing from players was that we were in transition as well, and they didn't know what their footing is, and they don't know what their place is.
Yeah.
So we'll throw it to break, but that's a lot of the conversation we'll have. We'll talk a little bit more about yesterday, and then we'll look forward to today's NFL schedule. We'll have some fun with it as well. But stick with us on 937 The Ticket.
Working at Continental in Lincoln isn't a job, it's a career. And right now they've raised wages again and they're hiring for production operators at $22.58 per hour. And other select jobs are starting at $24.28 per hour, with wages growing up to $30.30 per hour. Continental also has salaried jobs available and great benefits, plus medical and prescription costs at very low premiums. Dental, vision, and life insurance are offered at no premium cost to the associates. To learn more or to apply, go to continental-jobs.com with keyword Lincoln. Come work at Continental today.
I wanted to quit for so long, but I didn't know where to start.
I was afraid of what people would think, but then I found the right support to start my recovery journey. 1 in 14 Americans reports experiencing a substance use disorder, a treatable medical condition. Treatment can take many forms, so there are a variety of options to explore and find the one that works best for you. Recovery from drug addiction is possible.
Paid for by the CDC. Sponsored by Nebraska DHHS. Aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
And we're live here outside the Perez family home, just waiting for and there they go. Almost on time this morning. Mom is coming out the front door strong with a double-arm kid carry. Looks like Dad has the bags. Daughter is bringing up the rear. Oh, but the diaper bag wasn't closed. Diapers and toys are everywhere. Ooh, but Mom has just nailed the perfect car seat buckle for the toddler. And now the eldest daughter, who looks to be about 9 or 10, has secured herself in a booster seat. Dad zips the bag closed, and they're off. But looks like Mom doesn't realize her coffee cup is still on the roof of the car. And there it goes. Oh, that's a shame. That mug was a fan favorite.
Don't sweat the small stuff. Just nail the big stuff, like making sure your kids are buckled correctly in the right seat for their age and size. Learn more at nhtsa.gov/the right seat.
Visit nhtsa.gov/the right seat.
Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Papa, why can't we telegraph while riding the horse? Son, there ain't no one to blame but Jeffro. He was riding old Betsy the Stallion, tip-tapping away at his telegraph when blam, ran right into the side of the saloon. Well, if Jeffro can't do it, neither should you. Don't text and drive.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
I get it, slip it, cuff it, check it twice a day.
I get it, slip it, cuff it, check it in the morning and before dinner.
I get it, slip it, cuff it, check it, and share it with my doctor. Nearly 1 in 2 U.S. adults have high blood pressure. That's why it's important to self-monitor your blood pressure in 4 easy-to-remember steps. It starts with a monitor.
Now that I know my blood pressure numbers, I talked with my doctor. We're getting those numbers down.
Get it, slip it, cuff it, check it. Talk to doctor now and share it.
Be next to talk to your doctor about your blood pressure numbers. Get down with your blood pressure. Self-monitoring is power. Learn more at manageyourbp.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council, the American Heart Association, and the American Medical Association, in partnership with the Office of Minority Health and Health Resources and Services Administration.
Hey, wouldn't it be great if life came with a remote control? You know, you could hit pause when you needed to, or hit rewind, like that time you knocked down that wasp's nest. Or that time you forgot to roll up your windows in the car wash.
Fantastic.
Yeah. Remote control would have come in handy then. Well, life doesn't always give you time to change the outcome, but pre-diabetes does. With early diagnosis and a few healthy changes like managing your weight, getting active, stopping smoking, and eating healthier, you can stop prediabetes before it leads to type 2 diabetes. It's easy to learn your risk. Take the 1-minute test today at doihaveprediabetes.org. Life doesn't come with a remote control. So you're on your own with the wasps. You have the power to take control of prediabetes. Visit doihaveprediabetes.org today. That's doihaveprediabetes.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and its Prediabetes Awareness Partners.
This is Old School on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, welcome back into Old School. We'll just call it Old School for now. We got DP here. I am Harrison Arns. No Jay this morning, but that's all right. He was pretty busy all of yesterday, so we'll just run it up here all the way up until 9 o'clock, followed by us. We'll have Fitness Fanatics for 2 hours. But you guys can chime in here at the show anytime at all. We're talking Nebraska football right now. Hit the Sutter Heyman text line, 402-464-5685. But where we left off, we were kind of talking about really just where this Nebraska program is going to go, what it's going to have to do, because Mickey Joseph has an incredible tough slate. I mean, I don't know what his options are, even to try to turn this thing around.
Run, Mickey.
Yeah. I mean, if I'm him.
Yeah, well, I mean, first of all, Mickey is so likable in his work ethic.
That's what bothers me about this whole thing.
Right? That Mickey makes you want to root for him. Right? You want to root for him. He's going to put in the right amount of work, whatever that is.
Mm-hmm.
But and I feel bad because the Kool-Aid, you just want to support the guy.
Yeah.
And then that you can support him and still say he's got a tough task ahead of him. Right? Like this is a tough task. But then to find out that how handcuffed it is, that he can't bring in any additional help now.
Mm-hmm.
There are no new players.
Yeah, you made a good point over the break. You were saying people want to get rid of maybe Shenander. Who are you going to replace him with?
Yeah, I mean, and I'm my hope is that my frustration and hope is that Shenander should be able to improve.
Mm-hmm.
Like he should be better.
Yeah, don't be so. I mean, a lot of they were even calling it out on the broadcast. It's like Nebraska's defense is showing exactly what they're going to do every play,
and they were wrong several times.
Yes,
which out of play, blown coverages, those sort of things. And I don't understand how you get to the place that you're at. That was the worst defensive performance that I've seen since I've been here.
I'm trying to think of any worse ones I might have
seen.
Like,
I felt worse about yesterday's defensive effort than I did Georgia Southern's.
Yeah,
because I kept at least at Georgia Southern made plays.
We had 2 interceptions that game.
Yeah, the plays were being made, and it was competitive, but that only tells me now what the competitive level is for this Nebraska defense.
Yeah,
that's the level. Is that Georgia Southern, Northwestern? Because we saw Northwestern lay an egg yesterday, right? Yeah. That's who they are. Well, oh my goodness gracious. So I don't know if Shenander can get it right. You root for it, because I'm not rooting for anybody to get fired. I'm consistent in that I don't root for coaches getting fired. I root for coaches to get right. I don't root against Nebraska as a fan base. I don't root against the programs or the players or the coaches. I just won't do it. Not because it's homerism, but what's the point? Like, yeah. I'm just not a negative. I'm not a negative person that way. That's not how I process.
Yeah, I want them to get it right.
I want them to get it right.
I don't know if they will, but I think that's what everyone wants.
I want them to get it right. So I wish that they would give him better resources, right? And fully focus on helping him win games this year. But that's hard to do when on his first day as the head coach at home, everybody in town around him is talking about Urban Meyer.
Yeah.
Like, that's just terrible.
I don't think it's happening either. That's going to be the embarrassing part.
Well, here's my point. And look, most of the people, unless you've talked to Urban Meyer, saying the stuff about Urban Meyer that's being said, like I don't get it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't get it. But I'm telling you, when I was in Utah, look, I got Urban 2 days a week. 2 days a week and travel with the team. Like this is a dude that I know pretty well.
Yeah.
So when he comes to town, I think like I understand what I want the easy fix. I just want my pain to end, and the easiest way to fix that. Like if I just want to win games, Urban Meyer is the most likely candidate. But the reality is, Urban Meyer wasn't always Urban Meyer. Like Mickey Joseph is just as experienced as a coach. He's not a head coach. Urban got the opportunity before Mickey did. Okay, give Mickey a chance to figure this out.
Yeah. I mean, that'd be the best bet, I think, for this program. Just fully get behind Mickey Joseph, see what you can do for him this season, and then if you feel good about it, give him more support in the offseason.
But you're not giving him the support now that you walk into a kitchen with nothing but chicken poop and saying, okay, we expect top level chicken salad. Well, I don't have chickens.
Yeah.
I don't have good chickens. I don't have the best chickens. I don't have where I can make this thing happen. But then as the text, so this texture is in the right place. I want Mickey to have a fair shot. And then everybody, like Husker, stop doing that. It's okay to just say, I want Mickey to have a fair shot.
Mm-hmm.
Like, give your interim head coach the full respect, right? Like, just say that. But then it goes on. He says, but I'm curious if they do find, like,
just stop there.
For me, it's just weird, right? And again,
just like you said, it's almost just desperation. Like, please end this suffering. We're willing to take, but I think especially why you keep hearing Urban Meyer, like people just don't care any sort of negatives he even has around him. It's just like, just end the suffering, get him in here now. They're just going to do everything they can. But the Mickey Joseph, I think people want to believe it. I also think people are like, we just kind of ran this experiment with Scott Frost, former player, loves the program. I want to get behind Mickey Joseph, so I'm going to. But like you said, I just don't know what the hell he's going to do. He doesn't even have a fair shot right off the bat with what's around him.
So here's the question amongst some of the Fox Sports people yesterday was, what did they think they had in talent? Mm-hmm. Did you ever think that Ty Robinson, et cetera, were the guys that would take you through a Big Ten football season? Remember, we haven't even gotten into the Big Ten football season. Like, we had one game against Northwestern, and it didn't go well.
Yeah, we're sitting 1-3.
But that's Northwestern. That's Northwestern. You went 1-3 outside. Like, you went 1-2 outside the Big Ten.
Yeah.
So here comes the Big Ten. Now, the Big Ten West is not the Big Ten West of norm, right? Indiana doesn't look the same. Iowa doesn't look the same.
No.
Wisconsin doesn't look the same.
It's all on the table again.
Right? Which is a part of the frustration, right? That in a year that if Nebraska was ever going to sneak up and do this would be it. This would be a really good time for it. But do you have the defensive players to make changes? You think you have the offensive players, right? You think you have guys who can you were averaging 36 points a game before going into yesterday.
Yeah.
So you think you have some guys. You think you have some depth at receiver. You think you have some depth at running back. You don't have depth at tight end.
Yeah, we're Travis Vokalek looked good. Chancellor Brewington, I saw, was getting a little more play. I still would like to see Chancellor Brewington more.
I keep asking.
I think he's probably the best blocking tight end we have.
We keep asking,
and just put him in there with sets with Grant, even if it's obvious.
Yeah. Just run him and bleed him.
Load it up. Don't even try to hide it. Be like, we're just gonna run the ball.
Run him and bleed him.
Trust your guys that you see crack heads in practice and let them go.
And it's been purposeful to not bash the offensive line individually.
Mm-hmm.
But fans know who's playing well, who's not.
Yeah.
The players know who's playing well, who's not. The question has been, if those are your best players, what is going on? Like, is it recruiting? Is it strength and conditioning? Is it schematic? Is it mentality? Is it culture? And I don't know that there's a plus in any of that for them.
I don't think it's strength and conditioning. I mean, I look at our guys and I'm like, you guys are huge. You're just as big.
They're big, but they're not.
They're not quick. They don't.
And it also came up yesterday, and I want to be fair, that the people who were doing the Fox game said, well, listen, their most trusted, experienced lineman isn't playing.
Yeah, he's in the NFL.
No, Nori.
Oh, Nuri. Okay, yeah. I thought you were talking about last season.
Well, think about it. Your three best linemen, your two best linemen, your three best linemen from last year didn't play yesterday.
Yeah.
Right?
That hurts.
And one of them played a game and a half. One of them was the second round choice in the NFL, and one of them was on the sideline wearing his jersey with no pads. Right? And this, even if you had everybody, the line was still a question.
Yeah.
So there are a lot of questions. The Texas Homework says a lot of the line was 4-star recruits. Well, then it becomes a matter of development and culture, crafting of the culture.
I will say though, I'm not going to call it any names, but there is a time when a guy has a 4-star because of his potential and how big he is. You have to look past the size sometimes and not just pick the big, massive guy and actually watch how he drives, what his drive is on the field. Because, I mean, you get those 4-stars sometimes just because the potential's there. They're big players, but you go up against Oklahoma and they have some 6-foot dude, and he's kicking people's butts out there on the all, and he's not bigger, but he's just more gifted, more talented. He didn't have maybe it wasn't a 4-star, but
my problem with the star system is that it doesn't measure IQ, integrity, character, heart.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like it just doesn't.
That's the O-line trap.
Like it just doesn't. And so, I've had guys who never made the star system, but then they go to Air Force Academy, they play, and then they become officers. Well, greater capability. Like if there's a 5-star, he's at the military academy, but he can't be because he's too tall or he doesn't check the measurable. It's weird. Back to the text, I want to say so the guy that asked the question about Mickey, then he says, well, I was asking when they hire someone if it's not Mickey. And then he says, read the question correctly. What you typed in was, I want Mickey to have his fair shot, but I'm curious if they do find a different coach. That's the issue.
Yeah.
Everything behind that doesn't matter. You didn't say when they hire someone. Like that's not what you said. You said, look, if they do find a different coach.
Yep.
When do they announce?
He's already moving on.
Don't apply that. Don't reapply that. You can't reapply what you typed. I read it. The whole thing is this: if we can't single focus, here's a problem, a huge problem within the program. It's not able to be present and deal with things as they currently stand.
Mm-hmm.
Period. From the people who hire to the people who play the program, the people who are recruiting in the program, not able to identify the current situation, circumstance, and then what the mission is.
I think it's just there's a result of the revolving door we've had around here.
But how do you fix the revolving door? You stop the revolving door.
Yeah.
You stop that perpetual motion, that need to be consistently moving in a different direction in space. Mm-hmm. The reality is there's a guy who's running your football program right now, and he needs everybody's focus and attention.
And then some.
Right? Like with everything in his direction, he may not have everything he needs.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because he can't get new talent this year. He can't. He can go down the roster that currently exists, but that's assuming that some of that has been developed and is prepared for Big Ten football.
Yeah, and we, like you said, he said yesterday he's going to be looking towards the bench or looking for some depth over these bye weeks. Some guys are going to get some new shots. But what you're saying before, I mean, you kind of know that stuff in the summer, so you would hope so. But he's going to have to find something. He's going to want to. He's going to maybe try some new things, put guys in different positions, see how it feels. But, yeah, he's going to have to find some hidden answers on this roster.
I mean, think about it. He wasn't in control, right?
Mm-hmm.
He wasn't in control in the summer.
Yeah.
Right? And he would constantly say there are things that are going on that you have to talk to the people who are in charge of those things. So there were several times throughout the course of this thing we said, well, you need to talk to Coach Frost.
Yep.
Or you need to talk to Coach Whipple. Like things are being done that's not my area of expertise. That's not my focus. But now he has to go back and re-identify those things. Like he'll have to ask each coach, well, why is this dude playing?
Mm-hmm.
Why is this your guy? How is this the best guy for what we're trying to accomplish? And either he's the best guy, the best talent, and we've misapplied his skill. Like we're asking him to do stuff that we shouldn't be asking him to do.
Right.
Or he's not capable of doing the things that we need for him to do, which means we need to go to somebody else who has that skill set. But to do that in 2.5 days is pretty ridiculous to do. The bulk of a lot of the language changed, right? A lot of the focus, like a lot of the messages that are put out there changed. Scott Frost had one way of communicating. Mickey Jost has another.
Mm-hmm.
And we don't know the relationship between Mickey and Mark and how those two dealt with each other 2 weeks ago versus yesterday.
Yeah, I wonder what it's like for Whipple.
Right, Whipple came in under Frost.
Yeah, and he's like, okay, we're gonna link these offenses together. Now Frost comes, and he's like, is this just my offense again? Mickey, you hopping in? What's going on?
Right. Like so, there are a lot of there's full things in place. I just think for the fans, and I feel bad for the fans because you want a change, you want success, you want winning, and then the desperation happens. Well, at this point, we tried it with nice guys, we tried it with bad guys. We don't care anymore. Just get me some wins. Which is really cool to say in the space until the other stuff lands, until the other shoe drops.
Yep.
And then you go, oh, that wasn't worth it at all. Because now people are going to laugh at Nebraska about a different thing that we don't want. Because Nebraska said, Nebraska nice. We're good people. We do things the right way. We work hard and we play fair and all that. But then you can't bring in somebody that says, not really.
Yeah.
Not really. So, Richie Rich says interim head coaches rarely work out due to the bad situations they're put in. So it's natural to start looking at other coaches. Doesn't mean we don't support Mickey. I'm sure Trevor's looking around. If Trev is looking around for other coaches, he's not focused on the team as it exists for the next 8 games.
Mm-hmm.
Period.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one.
Period. If Trevor, as the lead for the athletic department, if he has his eyes elsewhere, he cannot focus on what is.
Well, with those questions too, even if he's looking elsewhere, you've heard what those coaches say when the media members ask them, hey, so are you thinking about Nebraska? You heard any rumors about Nebraska? They say, I'm not focused on that right now. It's midseason. They're not. Urban Meyer doesn't, even if you want Urban Meyer, he's not. You don't need to talk about it because it's not going to happen right now anyways.
Well, I mean, here's the thing. The people who are talking about Urban Meyer don't know Urban Meyer.
Yeah.
Like, fact. Like nobody that knows Urban is having that conversation because Urban's not having that conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's a statement of truth. And at me, like come at me about that. But no, you're wrong. Let's go to break. We'll finish up this thing. We appreciate you guys hanging. Whether you agree or not, again, we're just here talking, having a conversation. We're venting. It's therapy. Get it out. Even if there's got a little venom, get it out of your system. It's good for a Sunday.
Sunday morning. It's quiet. Not in a weird, too quiet way. Calm, peaceful, tranquil. You pour yourself that cup of coffee. You slice yourself a hearty chunk of one of Beatrice Bakery's breakfast breads. Now, maybe you're an apple streusel guy. Nothing wrong with that. I can respect that. Personally, I'm a turtle nut man. Something about those pecans. But the real ones know. Don't sleep on that date nut bread. Sweet, but not too sweet. Nutty, not overly. The perfect morning treat. Beatrice Bakery. Online at beatricebakery.com. Welcome to our world of yum.
We're still as busy as we've ever been. Across the country, you may see a small slowdown, but in Lincoln, Nebraska, we're not slowing down.
Bob Benish is the founder and president of Aspen Builders, online at aspenbuildersinc.com.
Our Southwest Lincoln development is just going great. As we keep growing in Southwest Lincoln, down the road, we'll have a new school, so that's exciting. We also have a new development out in East Lincoln over by Hillcrest Country Club. Just a real neat subdivision because it features trees, great views. If you're concerned about interest rates, many lenders in town offer extended lock periods. So it's worth contacting a lender and asking them about an extended lock. That's a big deal.
Make your dream home a reality and call Aspen Builders at 423-6811. Online at aspenbuildersinc.com. Your home is waiting at Aspen Builders.
In every office, there's two types of people. There are those who bring in bagels and those who eat the bagels that someone else brought in. Everybody likes the first person. Be that first person. Weekday mornings at 7:30, you have a chance to win a business box of bagels from Bagels and Joe. All you have to do is shut up, Sipple. 2 questions for you, 2 for Sid. Win and the bagels are yours. Lose, well, you don't want to lose.
You lost Monday, you lost Wednesday, you're a loser.
Shut up, Sipple. Weekday mornings at 7:30, brought to you by Bagels and Joe.
Put a frog in a pot of boiling water and it'll jump right out. But put a frog in a pot of cool water and slowly heat it up, that frog will boil. As a metaphor for us and all that we go through as veterans, it's a story that rings true. We learn to endure the heat and silence. We apply what we learn to life, the bill, the job, the family, things we're expected to handle with ease. When life comes up around us, we just try to stay afloat. We let the water boil. Reaching out isn't easy, but you've never been interested in easy. You joined because you were not afraid of hard work. You are not a frog. If you or a veteran you know needs support, don't wait until the water boils. Reach out. Find resources at va.gov/reach. That's va.gov/reach. Brought to you by the United States Department of Veterans Affairs and the Ad Council.
When it comes to making plans, you are the best. What about those round trips, which are perfect on your way there and perfect on your way back? Or those meetings with friends, surprise parties, camps, birthdays. The same way you plan for the important moments, start planning to protect you and your loved ones from a natural disaster. Sign up for local weather and emergency alerts. Prepare an emergency kit and make a family communications plan. Get started at ready.gov/plan.
Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
How was your drive to school?
Let me tell you, I had to get my iced coffee first. I just can't seem to put it down. My favorite rapper just announced a tour. My phone was buzzing like crazy. I'm so excited. I had to text all my friends right then to talk about it. Then someone started calling me and
Let's try that again.
I turned my phone off right away. I never drive distracted.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
I grew up hearing that women are bad with money, but like many of you, I spent years paying bills, managing checking accounts, and taking care of my family. So turns out women are pretty good with money after all. And now I'm taking control of my financial future by saving for retirement. It's never too late to start, and there's a great website to help you. Check out WeSaySaveIt.org and jumpstart your retirement savings on your budget and your timeline. That's WeSaySaveIt.org. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Back to old school with DP and J on 90.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, welcome back into the final segment here. I am Harrison Arndt with DP. We're talking about Nebraska football. We'll probably tie things up here. If you got any quick comments you want to get in before the end of the show, you can start our Heyman text line 402-464-5685. Because after this, we'll be doing Fitness Fanatics. That will go from 9 to 11 o'clock with Jeff and Nicole Essink. So get your comments in now before that show gets going. But yeah, where do you want to go with this one, DP?
So there's lots to cover. And again, for you folks on YouTube, my apology because all of a sudden they just dump all of your comments that you've been there. It says they're going to do a clean slate. Listen to Trent press conference on YouTube. He's going to get a new coach. Okay. But I'm also you can have your eyes forward. I'm just going to focus on this football season week to week.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I do. And it keeps me sane from trying to look so far into the future that, you lose focus. So
yeah, well, I'd rather talk about what's happening than what may or may not.
Well, there are people that want to speculate, and I'm like, oh, okay, okay, but I kind of work from what I know rather than what I think I know. Like based on what I know, and again, if you're not in the circles that people are in, like each circle is different. So your access to information, there are people that have friends who are around the program that whisper to them, and some of it's true and some of it's not. Well, if I'm talking about Mickey Joseph, or I'm talking about Scott Frost, I'm talking about the things that I know from them directly. Like we talk about facts within the game yesterday. Don't have to speculate about it. You ask questions about it and have conversation. That's all we're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and you're being heard, like listeners, texters, you're being heard. Like we're reading them because you have a point.
Yeah, no, I do.
But for me to read your text is validating the text, the content of your text, even if the text information is right or wrong.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to discuss it then. And if you text something in that you believe is true, and I don't agree with it, just as in reverse, if I say something that you don't agree with, you text it DP, I don't agree with that. They're both okay. They're both okay.
Yeah, it's the point of sports radio. To
They're
disagree a little
both okay.
Yeah. Well, it's the thing. Like I want to not talk about Urban Meyer hiring other coaches, but if you are, I mean, I kind of understand why you're probably at that point. We're at just like such a program. Let's just be honest. We're at a low. I mean, this is an all-time low since I've been watching Nebraska football. It hasn't been this bad for me in a long time. Yesterday, that game, I really couldn't give a damn after the second half. I was like, this is the product. It's not going to get better. There's just getting outplayed at every level. And I was like, man, I don't know when this is going to end.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know what to say. It was tough yesterday. It was tough for fans. It was tough for the team, tough for coaches, tough for the players, all the way around. Mm-hmm. So again, just this was therapy. Come in, get your vent out.
Yeah, it's good to talk about things.
Right, get it out. You got a bye week, but there'll be news tomorrow. Yeah, like they're down there today. There'll be news today. There'll be news tomorrow. And I have an off day. Even with an off day, there'll be news. There'll be news, and we will be here to talk about it. We'll be here to hear you, to see you, to talk to you. Mm-hmm. That's kind of what it is. But don't go anywhere. It gets a little bit healthier. Jeff and Nicole are on their way. You guys enjoy your NFL Sunday, and then do something cool with yourself, for yourself, just because.